Fallout 77, lucky number 7. Here we are. This is podcast episode 77 of the Friends Per Second podcast. I'm Jake Baldino. I'm joined as always by SkillUp, and we're joined by a special guest today because Lucy is back at her homeland visiting, hopefully relaxing. But we're joined today by Parris, none other than Parris. Internet's Parris, Gamertag Radio's Parris, Twitter's Parris. How are you, man?
Twitter's Parris, man. That's bad. That's bad right there. Nobody wants to be called Twitter's someone. Like that's not a good prefix on your name.
Well, first off, thank you for having me on. It is always a pleasure and an honor to be on. But secondly, on the Twitter thing. So when I was at Gamescom, I got to meet Richard Ledbetter for the first time.
Oh, nice.
At Digital Foundry. And that's literally how he introduced himself to me. I know you. You make the funny tweets.
It's bad, man. You got to start rethinking things when that happens, you know?
I know, right? No, but it's great to be here. I really appreciate you inviting me on. It should be a good time. I think the last time I was here was when Xbox just was starting to do this whole multi-platform thing, and we're trying to figure out what was going on. And I think they're 100% doing it at this point.
Yeah, now it's like
back then they were kind of flirting with the idea. They're like, maybe we'll do maybe one. Maybe, you know, everyone back there was like, come on, bro, let's be
now
real.
We're here. It's like ground zero of this event, you know, the Helldivers 2 and Gears of War back to back. It's been very cool. I just like it in terms of seeing other people just playing things that they haven't played before and being like, holy shit, this is cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can it be that simple?
You know what? I think it is, because as weird as the concept of all this was when it first was starting to be rumored with Xbox, I played Gears of War Reloaded on the PS5 just because. And I'm like, this is weird. And then 5 minutes later, it's like, all right, I'm playing Gears. It doesn't matter, you know?
I'm so bad at it on a DualSense controller. It's tough. It took me It took me a second, man. And everybody picked up the meta right away in multiplayer. Like it's just gnashers, roll. And it feels great, but it's also just like when you're just destroyed into a million pieces every 5 seconds.
That would be me.
Ralph, what about you? Are you firing up the old PlayStation to play an Xbox game or what? I see you making faces.
Man, I mean, first of all, no, because I only ever play on PC unless I absolutely have to, which basically means that I only play on a console now when it's a new release Sony game or a Nintendo title. That's it. That's the only time I pick up a console. And like, you know, I know we've talked about this point a lot over the years and whatever else, but I think it does matter personally. Like, I think, you know, is it more complicated than that? Is it just like more people get to play more stuff across different platforms? And it's like, yeah, I think it is more complicated than that, because I think that you know, platforms and their momentum and their technology and their exclusives, they're all intertwined.
And you're thinking like competition?
I mean, competition. I mean, innovation. Yeah. I mean, sort of, you know, brand presence and identity and how that what that means. You know, like a company like Nintendo has a brand that it kind of builds, and then it builds itself around to self-reinforce it. And it becomes this thing where Nintendo can then kind of lean into its weirdness and lean back away from things that don't quite make sense to it. And I don't know. And so with Xbox, there's just not really that brand there anymore. Now it's just a multi-platform publisher that's doing a whole bunch of stuff. And that's cool. Like, yeah, we're going to get lots of different types of games. You're going to get racing games and strategy games, and you're going to get them on all platforms and whatever else. But the Xbox brand really meant something. It was cool for a time, especially in that launch year in 360. You know, it was really pushing the envelope in terms of online innovation in particular. All of that stuff, that was great. And I think moving back from that is a loss. As I said, it is cool that people on PlayStation get to play Forza, but I do think we've lost something along the way as we go through that process.
Yeah, you know, and I wouldn't disagree with that, because again, just going back to last time I was on here, that was kind of my number one concern about was brand identity. Like, you're risking losing that if the Halo and Gears and all these flagship games start going, you know, over to PlayStation and other platforms. But I think now that it's actually happened, I'm at that point now of when something isn't on PlayStation from Xbox, I'm actually surprised. Like Keeper coming out in October is only going to be on Xbox and PC and won't be on PlayStation right away. But we talked to Phil Spencer. This was January. We talked to him, and I asked him at that time, because he was at that point saying no red lines, all these things. And I go, okay, then why would I buy an Xbox? And his response was, they're going to do something innovative. I kind of maybe sort of see what he was trying to say there, but until we see whatever this next gen console is going to be, assuming it's some kind of Windows hybrid PC console thing, I just think their hardware is going to be more boutique moving forward. They're clearly telling you it's not a requirement. And I think, to your point, they have lost a little something with their brand identity as far as that goes. But then I think, but I am getting the games. I kind of like you, I play more on PC than I play anywhere anyways. It's nice to have an Xbox console under my television, but it seems like moving forward, it's just not going to be a requirement.
Yeah, it does kind of make me sad. Like I guess I am a little washed up in the hype of everybody, like the cross contamination, but there was such a, and I mean, Xbox as a brand is still going to try things. It's going to be in the conversation, but in a different way, because I was a big I got the Xbox right away when I saw Halo, but I was a big Xbox 360 guy. And Ralph, when you kind of almost like mournfully, kind of wistfully talked about those days, that's when I was like, oh yeah, there is more to this.
Yeah, I think so. I do think so. And I think you can you can look at like hindsight, you can look back on different generations and what they meant and what they accomplished. And you can look at the Dreamcast as kind of like a missed opportunity. And you can look at like the 64 as this heyday of platformers. And you can look at obviously the X360 in terms of the rise of multiplayer. PS4 was very much about like, single player sad dad games and open world games and the rise of the open world formula, which basically just took over gaming for an entire generation. Sony was very much at the forefront of that. And I think obviously it's no secret that since the Xbox One era, Microsoft hasn't found it's sort of the thing that people look back fondly on their console for, and it seems like they're never going to find it again because it's just, that doesn't exist now, or even just their brand more broadly. And as I said, I do think some things are lost in that, and it's partly vibes. It's this kind of like amorphous feel, but I think it was a good, healthy thing we had going for a while, where there were 3 platforms that were duking it out, with PC off to the side doing its thing, and it's different now.
If they can keep some of that energy, in game publishing. If I can still be excited about like what Xbox is funding and what Xbox game studios and stuff is producing, I'm looking forward to that. I'm still open to that. Like that's cool. But it's different.
Along those lines, and I guess I'll go into some spoiler territory from Gamescom. So I got to sit in on a presentation for Keeper from Double Fine. Tim Schafer gave the presentation, and he's kind of talked about that, because what Keeper is, I mean, it's a AA style game. It's going to be very niche. It's not going to be for everyone. That's something that before they were part of Xbox, he probably would have had to go to Kickstarter or something, right, to get the funding to be able to make something like this, because let's be real. It's not going to reach it's not going to be something everyone wants. It's not going to be a big seller. So in that respect, I'm glad that Xbox has Double Fine and is allowing them to do these type of games. They're not being mandated. You need to make a game that's going to sell 5 million copies or we're closing the studio, versus it seems like they kind of know this isn't going to be a big hit as far as sales go, but maybe it's award winning. Maybe it's something that's top of mind, because even Psychonauts 2 was that way for them as well. So in that sense, to what you're talking about, Jake, I mean, I hope all these acquisitions and everything that they've been doing, because it's 30 plus studios at this point, that you do get more of the keepers in the South of Midnights of the world that aren't going to be the big hits, but they have a place, right? For a certain audience.
I totally agree. And I think that's something that I said when the round of layoffs occurred recently, and closures and cancellations and whatever else, because everyone was like going in on Xbox, as I was too. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Like, I absolutely was. But what I'm saying is I think they also do deserve credit, because they are the publisher that put out Pentiment. You know what I mean? And that's not the kind of game that is going to get an easy run if you pitch it to a publisher. And you do get South of Midnight, and, you are about to get Keeper and all this sort of stuff. So like, obviously Microsoft, deeply imperfect organization for sure. Lots to complain about. Absolutely. But yeah, I do fully give them credit for that playing at that end of the spectrum. And I think it's just such a shame that they did what they did to Tango, because I think it really fucked with the messaging around that, because it's a really pure thing that they were doing with like, hey, let's just make cool little games that don't need to sell a lot, and we're going to back you on that. And then Tango happened, and you're like, what the fuck? What? You know what I mean? So hopefully they've learned from that. Hopefully they don't do that again, basically, because that was I think devastating to that well messaging said. And the work they were doing on that front.
Parris, but actually, I would love to hang on. I would love to, Parris. What do you, as someone who has spent a lot of time with Xbox fans in the Xbox community, what do you see for the future of Xbox fandom, the Xbox community, Xbox content creation? Where do you see it in 5 years? What do you like? Have you thought about that big picture yet?
A little, and to your point, you know, I try to be a man of the people. I'm out there in the community talking to people all the time. What I've seen, I would say, over the past calendar year is, you know, it at first shock, you know, denial. This isn't happening. This can't be on. What are we doing? And more of, wait, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Maybe it is okay if these games are playable elsewhere, because I think the simplest way to explain this is what I've kind of learned is people are pretty much entrenched where they are. So it doesn't matter if a game's somewhere else. It's not like they're magically going to drop their digital library and jump somewhere else to go play it. They're going to stay where they are. So the same people that bought an Xbox this time, they're going to buy an Xbox next time. Same with the PlayStation, right? So I think it's just kind of, hey, okay. You know, you see this Helldivers 2 collaboration, ODST. People are celebrating it. They're excited about it. You know, they're excited to jump in and play with other people. But to your point about from a content creation standpoint, I guess I've always just looked at it as game by game. What kind of services are you offering? Is there something that I want to talk about? Someone, you know, making a game that I want to interview, things like that. So I don't think nothing's really going to change from that standpoint. It's the hardware that I'm fascinated to see. It's the hardware.
Yeah.
And it's potentially what this Windows integration is going to look like. I mean, conspiracy theory, I tend to think they're going to bring some kind of backwards compatibility to Windows. And obviously, it's going to be the first open platform console since Steam and Epic and all that will be on there. So how does that play out? But, you know, we're still in really early days with this. It's handheld, obviously, is kind of a small sneak peek into what that potentially could look like. It just seems like they're just saying, hey, go play where you want to go play. We'll make sure our games are available where you want to go play. And that just seems to be the future for Xbox. And the community seemingly is okay with it.
Yeah.
I definitely would like to pivot then to you attending Gamescom. You've seen a lot of stuff, so we kind of want to pick your brain on a lot.
Sure.
And I think first we should go right into hardware stuff. You got more hands-on with the stick with me.
I know, right?
ROG
Every time.
Ally X.
It's a mouthful. Yes.
Because they actually have, because it's called the Asus ROG Ally, and then they also have the Asus ROG Ally X, and now they're going to have the ROG Xbox Ally. Is that what it's called?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Okay,
the
right.
ROG Xbox Ally and the ROG Xbox Ally X.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Terrible.
Yes.
Why is this company so bad at naming things? Fucking hell. Like, seriously. How could you be this bad at this stuff for so long?
What I heard with that was, and then I don't know this officially, was that Asus obviously still wanted their branding name to be in it. Fair. So, because I always thought that it lost opportunity with the white one. You should have just called it the Ally S. Ally S and X. But I don't know.
That'd be easy. Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
That would make Parris. That would make too much sense, my man. There's no way Microsoft are going to go for that idea.
For another thing that is a mouthful to say. So the new Windows experience on this handheld is called the Xbox Full Screen Experience, and I can never remember to properly say that correctly. So. But I got extended hands-on time with it because I played it back in June briefly at the showcase, and they gave us a briefing. And then now here at Gamescom, I got another behind closed door, extended time with it. Along with, I went to the Media Day booth at the Xbox booth, so I got to play Silk Song, I got to play Gears again, and kind of just fumble through the Windows UI. From a hardware standpoint, it's solid. Both of them. I was actually very surprised and impressed with the Xbox Ally. I'm just going to call it the white one. With the white one, I was impressed with the white one because I played Forza Horizon 5 on it. It's great. There were no issues. I mean, loading was a little long, but once I was into Forza Horizon 5, I mean, it was fine. It played fine. No issues. Stuttering any of that. So I think pricing is clearly going to be a big thing with that one, because I think if they can get that as cheap as possible, which is probably why they've not announced pricing yet, that might be the one that's the more popular one over the X. Obviously, the X with that Z2 Extreme AI processor in it, and obviously they're going to be doing some of the AI stuff with the they're going to be preloading shaders, when you're downloading the game, and they're going to do some of the super resolution stuff as well with the AI chip on it. So let's see how that plays out. But the hardware itself feels good. It feels really good. But it does, I think the biggest thing is the UI. It's Windows. They've made it good enough. Now it feels with that Xbox button, I can quickly shortcut to certain settings and get to things that I need. I know Tom Warren put out a video showing how easy it was to get to the desktop and flip back to that. So that wasn't really an issue as well. It's not perfect. I still prefer Steam. I prefer the Steam OS UI over it. But they have admitted it's a process. This is 1.0. They're going to continue to iterate on it. I think them adding the handheld ready badges, similar to what Steam is doing, is needed as well. I probably my biggest complaint is you still will have to flip back to desktop when you're installing security updates, stuff like that.
Sure.
I know they'll preset where you can install Steam and Epic, Battle.net, things like that. But if you want to do something that's not preset, third party, again, you're going to have to flip to the desktop and install those things. I know they want to keep you in the Xbox full screen experience as much as possible, but there will be times that you're either going to have to jump into Armory Crate or jump onto the Windows desktop to do certain things. But I think as a 1.0 is kind of an opening salvo into them partnering, with some vendors to make hardware. This one I think is solid. Again, it's going to come down to pricing on it. I think the games will run on it fine. 1080p on the X and 720p, even though it's a 1080p screen on both an IPS, but the white one is tailored more to 720p gaming, and obviously the X for 1080p gaming. They're looking at, depending on the performance, 30 or 60 frames. Something like Balatro obviously can go up to 120 because it is a 120 hertz screen. I'm more curious once we get unattended access to it, because there are still games I like Cyberpunk obviously would probably be the big one to test performance wise on it. I want to be able to do that kind of stuff during review just to see, because clearly they've curated what games that we got to play at Gamescom because to make sure they're all running well. So it'll be interesting once it's out in the wild in reviewers' hands, and then we can really start tinkering with it and really see what we can break. Because as an interesting note, at the Asus booth in Gamescom, they had the handheld there. The public could walk up, they could play it as much as they wanted, but they had that locked down. You could not leave the Xbox full screen experience at all. You couldn't flip to desktop mode or anything like that doing that. But overall, it was solid. I think there's potential there, but I'll say it a third time, price. I mean, that's going to be the biggest thing if they want any. And I don't think it's going to be a huge adoption regardless, because none of these handhelds are, right? But I think even with the enthusiast crowd, nobody wants to spend $1,000 on that thing. So again, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest question mark around this, because I think even if you look at the uptake of Steam Deck, that's like obviously the most popular handheld PC, and that's only got a few million units out there, right?
Right.
You compare that to a Switch, which has 150 million units. And, Nintendo was doing those sorts of numbers for most of their major handheld consoles before that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, look, I think it's an interesting play. The question I have is for myself, like, would I buy this device? Because, I use my Steam Deck pretty frequently, actually. And would I buy this device and use it as an upgrade over the Steam Deck? I don't know that I would. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm just saying that, it's going to be, because the only way I'd buy it is if I'd buy the X, the black one or whatever, right? to get a performance bump over the Steam Deck, because it seems like performance across the base model and the Steam Deck will be largely the same. Okay, people are anticipating the price, and certainly the leaks suggest the price is going to be largely the same as like a Steam Deck OLED. So if I want a performance bump, I got to pay a big premium for it. A heavier device, because it's actually really heavy, by the way.
It's
I don't know if you know.
Boy,
yeah, it's really chunky.
What is it? 80-watt battery in the X, I think.
I can't remember.
I think that's the spec on that. Yeah.
Yeah, but so I'm like, would I actually get this device? Would I make it my main driver? I'm taking my Switch 2 with me when I travel. I'm taking my Steam Deck. Am I going to replace the Steam Deck with this thing? And honestly, don't know. That's the truth, and the fact that it's not a slam dunk for me as like an enthusiast who fucking lives and breathes this shit every day. I don't know. Like I think there's something in that, right?
Yeah. Well, like when I'm asked the question about that, my thought on it is this, because I prefer the Steam Deck. When I went to Gamescom, I only took the Steam Deck. I didn't even take the Switch 2. But I think, again, it comes down to Windows and how user-friendly that UI is going to be. The advantage that it will always have over any Linux handheld is going to be anti-cheat, number one, for any game that uses that. And the fact that I will have access to multiple digital stores. So if there are games I want to play on Epic, or obviously take advantage of Xbox and PC Game Pass, stuff like that, that device will be able to do it. Whereas with Steam Deck, you're going to have to go tinker and do 1,000 different things to try and get it to work. So I think the convenience of that with Windows could be the deciding factor. But the point that you made right at the top, I think, is the biggest thing. Someone that already has a Steam Deck, or someone that already has the original Ally X, or all these names. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes, the grips on the handheld is great. It feels very natural to hold. I really like that. But that's not enough of an incentive if I already have an Ally X to want to go jump to the next one, right? So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, Xbox is probably going to really be pushing this thing when it comes out in October. But I don't think their target on it, outside of huge enthusiasts, it's going to be new people that don't have a handheld already, because I don't see that many people switching over.
Yeah. And I think this is also like part and parcel of that conversation that we had earlier about like a platform, and what does it mean when you no longer have a platform that's like, doing its thing and fighting that fight, right? Well, a big part of that business model in the day was that you price really aggressively on your hardware to get an install base so that, you can then make money on royalties. But that doesn't exist anymore with this. So whereas we look at this really high spec machine and we think to ourselves, we could have thought, well, maybe Xbox will take a bit of a hit on this one, trying to get the install base up and they make their money back later. They can't. They're literally just selling a white label product. There's margin on that. There's no upside to them, as in like from third-party software sales or anything like that. So it just changes the dynamics of how we think about hardware from these platforms when they are no longer incentivized to build large install bases so they can harvest third-party fees. So
now they just want to harvest Windows. They want everybody to have a Windows account. They want Windows to proliferate out there. That's how I look at a lot of this. It's just a Windows play. Even though this device is hiding Windows as much as possible, which that's my curiosity as someone who just hates Windows. I'm just curious to see it. Like, how does it work? How do they hide it from me as much as possible?
But the push looks to be, for next gen. That next console is probably running some variant of Windows.
Absolutely.
So, we'll see. We're probably, I don't know, year and a half away from finding out exactly what it's going to be, but that seems to be the play. And this is probably the first iteration, into that effort.
I think that's exactly what this is.
All along.
Yeah, I think this is going to sell like a few 100,000 units tops, right? That's my like hot take on that. And happy to be proved wrong, but like that's my guess. And I think it's ultimately useful for Microsoft for them to prepare for, I think, their next generation hardware play, which is, I definitely see them partnering with multiple hardware manufacturers to make like white label consoles, and this is the foundation for that. You'll have one made by fucking HP, one made by Dell, one made by Alienware or whatever, and they're all Xboxes. You know what I mean? And all of the interoperability and all the OS stuff, and this is all going to get tested on this platform, on the ROG. And I think that's what Microsoft really care about for this launch. We'll see, I guess.
Agreed.
So.
I do want to pivot to more Gamescom hands-on. You mentioned, Parris, that you played a little Hollow Knight on this handheld device. I'd love to know.
So actually, I I have a funny story about that because, again, I was one of the first people in line for the handheld at the booth, and I was in the quote unquote Silk Song line. So I was like, oh man, I'm gonna be one of the first to play it. I get in there, and they instantly put me on a device that did not have it, and then I was like, oh crap. So then I had to come back like later in the day to check it out. And they also had a booth outside. It wasn't the handheld, but you could play it on the big screen as well. I mean, it's great. It was funny because I played it maybe about an hour before they made the announcement that it was coming out on the 4th. But hey, it's Hollow Knight. I mean, it played great, for the limited demo that we had. I mean, good Metrovania. So I think their strategy, because I think they did because of the Kickstarters or whatever, no reviews. It doesn't need a review. It'll be fine. Just go pick it up, on the 4th and play it. But it looks good.
That's an interesting point because I think sometimes you look at no reviews and you're like, come on now, we know what you're doing. Like you're trying to pull some bullshit. Like, and most of the time, to be perfectly honest with you, it is that, right?
Right.
And it's companies trying to hide the fact that they've got not necessarily a terrible product, but a product that they're not confident in, right? Whereas these guys, you don't imagine that they're hiding anything. Like they're obviously they know what they're doing. They've taken their time to do it. They're feeling happy and comfortable.
They've earned
they're
the
like,
benefit of the doubt.
They've earned the benefit of the doubt. I think it's a great way to put it.
100%. And the fact that it was at Gamescom open to the public, it's not like they were hiding it at all.
Sure.
That's what told me. I was like, it played fine. The public, everyone that played it loved it. So I think it'll be fine when it comes out.
Yeah. Cool. So did you? Sorry, I was going to say, just in terms of like the expanded move set and the controls and like how it felt, like, did you really feel those differences from the first one, or does it feel quite similar to play through?
It felt similar. So it's funny you say that. It felt similar in the moment. I went back and since I came home, I went back and played Hollow Knight. It's definitely different. It feels improved. But at first pickup, because it had been so long since I played Hollow Knight, this is the same. And I was like, wait, no, it's not. So they've definitely iterated on the moveset. You know what I mean?
Nice. That's so cool.
We'll be talking about it soon. So it's like right around the corner, right? September 4th. Yeah. Oof, I picked a weird time to go on vacation. I didn't know it was coming out. What are you going to do? Parris, I would love to know your like top level game of show from Gamescom. You got one?
That's easy. So, and just to give you the full context, I went out there for NVIDIA for their GeForce On. So matter of fact, I saw Lucy for the 1,000th time this summer. I swear to God, I've seen her a million times. But I was at the NVIDIA event and I got to play it there and captured the whole thing. It really good. Because you were at Summer Game Fest, right? Oh, did I say Resident Evil? Resident Evil. Sorry,
no, you didn't say it.
I just jumped right into it. I played Resident Evil Requiem because at Summer Game Fest I just watched it, in the theater presentation.
Yeah.
And this time I actually got hands on with that and got maybe about 25 minutes I got to play. I mean, really good. I love the atmosphere of it. I love being able to switch between first and third person. I found myself actually liking third person more than first person, because I could see the evil monster lady breathing heavy and sniffing, looking for me. But it was good. It was good. That was February. Can't get here soon enough for that. I think that was the game that I played that I had the most fun with, because normally I'm not a Resident Evil guy. And this one really grabbed me. I was like, yep, I want to play this. Ironically enough, a game, I'm just going to jump into it, a game, and this was also at NVIDIA, that came out of nowhere for me, and Ralph, I think you might appreciate this, Cinder City, which is coming from a Chinese developer. It's basically The Division.
Like The Division with zombies and sci-fi and shit.
It was really good. Really, really good. Looks beautiful too. I think it was running on Unreal 5.
I was curious about that one because I'm like, you see some of those trailers sometimes, and you're like, what's this? I guess maybe we're all just really scarred from like the day before where we see anything Division-esque. We're like, what the hell? But so you're saying though, you actually played it and it plays well.
Yeah. Played cool. Well. Yeah, really good. Matter of fact, I have a video out, a little bit of clip of gameplay from it, but it's a Division. You can cover, again, third person over the shoulder, all that. It was good. Vehicles, you can actually ride like a motorcycle. I did that as well. It was really good.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Do we know the business model for that yet? Is that free to play?
Yeah. You know what? I don't know.
I'm curious.
It didn't seem like it's a free to play game. I want to say no because it didn't seem like it, but I could be wrong.
So.
I do want to go back to Resident Evil for a second.
Yeah.
I found it very interesting. I haven't played a horror game like this in a while where the character in third person has stumble animations where when you're running from the pursuer, she's just like falling over herself and stuff. And you're controlling that.
Jake? Did she do the sound
basically, yeah. But the one thing Parris, I know you said you're not a big Resident Evil guy, but Ralph, I feel like you've seen some gameplay and stuff too at this point. Do you feel like there's more to this? I feel like it just feels like such a very isolated, small experience of the game. And they're not giving anybody anything else. Trailers, marketing, previews, anything outside of just this Grace Ashcroft walking through a hallway. I just want to know what the hell the rest of the game is.
They did say it's set in Raccoon City after the bombs fell, right?
The trailer showed images of a bombed out Raccoon City, but that's like...
I thought it was... Oh, I thought they've actually said that it's in that... Okay, well, I don't know then. Because I would imagine it'd be a real... It would be very annoying if they showed that the remains of that city and they don't let you walk around that city.
There.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess that there's something like that. Because, they are being quite cagey about it. Like they really have been very specific with... They've shown this thing now like 4 times, this hallway sequence. You know what I mean? So I'm betting there probably is other stuff, but... They're just kind of keeping their cards
I'm becoming like the conspiracy theorist. I'm like, Leon's going to bust through a window and he's going to be like, this way, let's go.
I've seen the fan theories about that. Like it's all over Reddit.
Crazy shit.
It's like, Leon's definitely in whatever. And I'm like, absolutely, it makes sense. But I don't know. But I do think I'm actually really into the Grace thing. I'm into the first person thing because like my favorite Resident Evil. But like, I really love 7, right? I loved that
as a horror thing. It is so good.
It's so good. Like that thing, I just really was into it, and I've kind of been chasing that high since. And that's one of the reasons I didn't really love Village because I think it kind of got away from that a little bit. But yeah, I'm really keen for it. It looks fantastic. Capcom just like on a massive tear, and they haven't stopped for years now. So yeah, it's gonna be great.
My favorite thing from playing it was actually in first person when you go up to a light switch glowing in the dark and you go to flip the light switch on and you don't know what you're going to see when the lights click on. That's nice. I was like, ooh, that's something. That's a feeling that they're cooking on. That's really cool.
Yeah. So
Parris, what else you got?
Sticking with Capcom, I played Pragmata again because I played it at Summer Game Fest.
Yeah.
It's time for a new level on that one. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. But it was just, I literally I already knew what to do. It was the same exact thing that we did at Summer Game Fest. But that one, I always feel like if you already played the demo, right when you get to the end of it, I'm like, oh man, this is about to get good. And then that's when they tell you to leave. So I see the potential with Pragmata, but I need to see more. I'm starting to realize that I definitely need to see more after doing that demo a second time. Now, a game that surprised me was Exoborn. It was not on my radar at all. Sure. And then they brought me in and I did a demo with the devs, and we went in one of the live servers and was playing. It's an extraction shooter for people that don't know. I'll just say it now. It's everything that Marathon should be. That's what I thought as I played it.
Big word.
I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah. It's just the truth.
Tell us, what was that? Like, what is that? You say it's everything Marathon should be. Like, what are those things?
Because you essentially have different classes of characters with these, lack of a better term, like these mech suits. Like the one that I kind of had like a hover ability that I could use. And, there's different weapons that you can pick up. You're going into this open world, and there's obviously different objectives that you can get. There's the PvP. There's PvP characters, other real people in the world, but there's other PvE characters, little mini bosses, things like that. And then you have to get it. Then you got to call the extraction, typical extraction mechanic. And then you kind of got to defend that area for a little bit, get on the thing and get out of there. But graphically, it looked great. Gunplay felt really good. The world itself, there's like crazy storms and other, hazards in the world as well. It just felt good. It just felt like the fact that I had no clue of this game until I sat down and started playing it. I'm like, oh, wait. Because I don't know if you played Arc Raiders or not. It's similar to Arc Raiders, but different enough that I'm like, I could see me playing both of these. It was good. Really, really good. I know they're doing a playtest, they said, in October, I think. So I was like, I told PR, I was like, get me in that because I want to play it again. But that was really good.
When you say doing what Marathon should, do you think? Because I looked at Marathon as like
the world felt
they were
alive.
trying to.
I think that's the biggest thing that I took from it. The world felt lived in and alive. I felt there was constantly some type of danger around the corner. Whereas Marathon, I don't know if you jumped in the beta or played at Bungie, but I don't know. There was a lot of just downtime between things where I didn't feel like anything was happening in there. Honestly, it felt kind of boring. Whereas this one, like I said, I felt like something was always going on. There was always an enemy or an objective or point of interest or storm or something crazy happening that I had to pay attention to while I was in. The extraction point, getting out, felt, you felt the urgency to try and get out as well. So
good.
That's so, I mean, and playing Arc Raiders, like, contrast between Arc Raiders and Marathon couldn't be more stark. Like it's so clear that Arc Raiders is like, cool, you're onto something here. This is ready to go. You can ship this. Whereas with Marathon, you're like, oh, okay, there's some stuff here that's cool, but like you're still very far from where this needs to be. And a lot of it does come down to that immersion, that sort of feeling of like being in this world, the tension, sort of dynamic events, but also the stakes. Like with Arc Raiders, when it's time to really like take down one of the Arc machines, those bigger robots that are roaming around, it's fucking tense, man, because they take a lot. They are dangerous. You are firing a lot around, so you're attracting a lot of attention towards you. Like there's a lot going on in that, and just the sheer level layout just creates so many opportunities for really tense moments. Whereas, as I said, Marathon, not so much. So, yeah, I mean, if you were getting those same sort of vibes from Exit 1, I wouldn't. That makes sense. That's from Shark Mob as well. That studio, they had previously done that vampire battle royale game. I don't know if you remember that one, Vampire: The Masquerade Blood Hunt.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, I never played it.
Yeah. Which was like actually a good game. It just was like, it didn't work because like how many people would want to be playing like long-term a vampire battle royale game? It's a pretty niche thing, but it was a very well-regarded game. And so now they've moved on to this, which obviously has more like mass market appeal, which, but they're a good studio. They truly are. And so it's not surprising to hear that they're onto a good thing with this. Can we talk about Outer Worlds 2?
It's funny. I was going to bring that up. Yeah, absolutely. We can. I played it at Gamescom, and then I did an interview like right after with the creative director and game director, and then they gave us that digital preview, so I got to play it a second time when I was at home. I enjoyed it. I mean, I got to play it at the showcase. I watched the theater presentation at Gamescom and then playing that prologue. So I've seen 3 different perspectives on it. I think they're onto something. I do. I don't know how big of a fan you were of the first one, but this one seems bigger in scope. I think the dialogue is hilarious. I think there's opportunity with some of the weapons, going guns blazing, the different perks, things that you can pick. Obviously, there's some stealth mechanics in there as well. Looks great in Unreal. You can tell they took some lessons learned from Avowed, and they're applying that now into the Outer Worlds 2, and they've improved the visuals even more. So yeah, it looked good, really, really good.
I don't know how you guys feel about this, but like I'm just pretty but like, okay, first of all, be super clear. I actually really liked Outer Worlds 1, right? I love Obsidian, and I'm honestly looking forward to Outer Worlds 2, and I think on balance it's probably going to be a good game. Okay, that's my suspicion. Okay, having said that, it feels like the marketing cycle for this thing has been completely fucked. Like it's astounding. Like I went to Summer Games Fest. I don't know if you guys played the slice that we played at Summer Games, but it was
I did.
So small. It was like you're just in this little factory and that's it. We had hands on for like 20 minutes, really couldn't experience much at all. And it was like, okay, cool. So I experienced so little of it. I didn't do a video on it because I felt like, well, I haven't really seen enough of this to be able to, go forward with it.
Yeah.
Then obviously they had the whole $80 thing, which is kind of like, what the hell are you guys doing here? And then recently I learned that they had this new preview round. And I was like, okay, cool. Finally, it's out in the hands of previewers and, they're going to be able to spend prolonged time with it and whatever else and really get into it and really whatever. Turns out this preview was just for the first hour of the game, like the prologue, before you can even get into any of the things that make an Obsidian game interesting. And so I watched all these previews from these people I follow and they're like, well, it was cool, but I only got to see a small part of it. And I'm just like, what are you guys doing? Like, why are you being so cagey about this? Like, this game is out soon, man. Like, what's the deal?
I agree. And this is where again, at Gamescom, they need to put this online. What they showed in that theater presentation, it gave the perspective of like you're trying to infiltrate this base. And do you go in guns blazing? Do you do with a stealth round? And they were showing some different montages with companions and things like that really showed off what the game could be versus what people played in that digital preview of the prologue. And like you said, what we saw at Summer Game Fest. So I don't disagree. They need to start ramping it up and showing this game more and talking about it more, because I do think there's something really good there. They're just not showing it.
I think same with Avowed. I mean, like, regardless of how it was actually received after it came out, for a while, it was just kind of like these little dinky trailers that showed small bits that didn't really look too exciting. And I do feel like if people saw more of what the game is, again, even if I didn't end up liking it after playing it, I think there would have been more for people to be excited about pre-launch.
But even with that, I'm trying to remember, they did a preview for Avowed, which was the first. No, it was the first zone. Oh, no, it wasn't the full first zone actually. But you could actually, it was quite a bit of the full. Yeah, it was quite a bit of the full first zone that we could play through in that preview that we did.
Because you did the island and then you went to the main thing. Yeah, I guess you're right.
And then you only think you had to stop when you got to the cutscene when you got into the city and you were attacked, right? But you could go all around. And so I actually spent like a good couple of hours in that preview, and ultimately I didn't end up liking the game, but overall, like, I got a good sense of what it was and the things that I, might not like, and I could talk about it. And with this though, it's kind of just weird that they're playing it this way. So I mean, look, it's out in like October 29th. 29th, yeah. So I mean, it's like 2 months ish. I don't know if they're planning on doing another preview, but yeah, look, as I said, I suspect this is a good game. That's the vibe I'm getting from it. So I just hope that they like get it out there a little bit more, because right now, if you go to any comment section for this game, by the way, it's just people shitting on it. That's the truth. It's true though. Like, it's everyone's like, this looks terrible. Like, I think history remembers Outer Worlds 1 kind of negatively net. I think it had a good reception, but then overall over time people soured on it. And I think, okay, fair enough. I personally enjoyed it. So again,
I said I kind of forgot about it after I played it, which I guess that's
I think some people were frustrated by like its sort of small scope and sort of the lack of reactivity in the RPG and whatever else. All fair complaints, but personally, I just really enjoyed the writing a lot. I like the characters. I was into it, right? But I think so the overall perception of the game soured over time. But then I think, obviously, perceptions of Microsoft published games, I think, has changed a little bit. There's more hostility to them naturally now. And in particular, this $80 thing really lit a fire under people. And they're like, you know what? Fuck you. And it's not even Obsidian's fault. And that's what's such a shame, because they don't set the price. Like, it's why I actually did an interview at Summer Games and I asked the game director, so why is this game $80? And then the Microsoft PR person swoops in. They're like, he's not answering those questions. You'll have to direct those questions to Microsoft, But in the comment section of when you talk about this game, there's just a lot of hesitation, a lot of hostility. And I don't know. I think, like, as I said, I didn't love Avowed, but I think Obsidian have earned like the benefit of the doubt over the years in terms of like, the quality of the games they produce. So I don't know. I think they need to sort of have another swing at the marketing on this one, because right now it's not really working.
We just need Pentiment 2, baby. That's it. Games for weird museum people. Let's go.
Josh Sawyer is currently in an old library with a candle reading manuscripts right now.
I hope he is. I got to preview. I played like the Gamescom demo, but not at Gamescom. Onimusha, Way of the Sword.
Oh yeah, nice.
It's cool, man. It's very. I played what very much felt like the tutorial area of the game, early area of the game, and it's pretty straightforward. If you've watched any gameplay, like you kind of know what to expect: parrying, blocking, heavy attacks, light attacks. Isin attacks from the old games are in it. I wasn't able to pull those off, but just the
is it because you're too casual? Is that why?
No, so the rep who was telling me about it, I was like, okay. But he didn't know if I could actually do it at that point in the game, like if I had to trigger it or if I just sucked, and we both couldn't really. So, but it's got a really good, and I think I said this at my Summer Game Fest preview. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but it's got like a really good like confidence and like swagger to it, and its own weird atmosphere. And the main character is so incredibly expressive, and he's just like mugging on. He's doing the people's eyebrow everywhere he goes, and But it's like a really good balance of like grimy, gross monsters like killing civilians and stuff, and then just like a cool guy who's a little bit aloof, but not enough where it takes you out of it. Like he's still a badass that I just find really, really interesting. And then the animations of the blocks, the parries, the clang of the sword, the scraping of sword on sword and sparks, and him just one-handing a guy. Like, that's cool. It's just really cool. It feels very... it does feel different than the original, like, Onimusha. Like, you're not Samanosuke. You're this guy. And I don't know. I think I'm into it. I just still need to see more, because what I saw was very early. You go through areas, there's little branching exploration, but you're kind of just going through an area. Here's 3 guys, kill them. Here's another couple of guys, kill them, get to the boss. So I still have a lot of questions of how that's going to evolve over time, but just that glimpse, I'm still really excited for it.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, look good at Summer Game Fest.
Yeah.
The theater presentation at Summer Games was fantastic. Again, it was the animations that really stuck out to me, because I was like, damn, how are you making combat look this good? Like, what are you guys doing? Why isn't everybody else doing this as well? Because wherever it is just like, it's too good, you know? So
yeah, and it felt good. I never felt tied or like chained into like overly long animations or anything like that. I still felt very in control, which is what I look for when I see games now with these insane animations. Like, what's that other one coming? The more Souls-like style one from, is it S Game? They just had a big preview in China.
Ironically enough, I played Phantom Blade Zero. I played.
Yeah, that's it. That's. So hit us.
So how did you find Phantom Blade?
I mean, I thought it was fine. Those type of games aren't necessarily my jam, so because I'm not good at them, but I mean, it's beautiful, and you know, you can tell trying to get down all the parries and the blocks and all that, you know, get the timing down. It's good. I played, because what they did at Gamescom, I could have played it for an hour and a half, but I had so many appointments. I only played it for like 30 minutes, so I was still pretty early into the demo, but I liked it. I definitely wanted to see more of it. Again, it's not necessarily my genre that I normally do, but I see the potential in it, and I see why, you know, they've been showing it off so much. Because like you said, I guess they did some big event in China or something for it, right?
Yeah.
Recently, a bunch of people got to play it. Yeah.
Yep. I've played it multiple times actually over the years, and it's definitely getting better every build. It's not a Souls-like. Well, I mean, it's Souls-like in some aspects in terms of structure or whatever, but like really, I wouldn't characterize this as a Souls-like. I would characterize this more of just like an action game. Like it's
more like a Wukong thing. Because Wukong isn't really a Souls-like.
Well, not as bad as that. I mean, there definitely wasn't a skill check, at least what I played, anyways.
What do you mean? You're saying Phantom Blade wasn't hard?
No, I mean, I'm in comparison to Wukong. You know how you have that skill check early in Black Myth Wukong where you face that one boss and he whips your ass. I'm saying I didn't face anything like that.
Yeah, I've definitely played some of the hard. I have played some of the harder bosses in Phantom Blade, and yeah, they do get tricky for sure. But I think the overall pace of it and the design of it is it almost feels like a Ninja Gaiden game almost. You know, not quite the same, but it's more. I'd put it closer to that than I would a Souls-like. In pace, in flow, in whatever else. But I think I like it. I'm into it. I think it's not trying to be Black Myth Wukong again, but you know, with a different setting. Like it is trying to be. It's got like dozens of weapons, by the way, and they've got like these really sophisticated. Like their martial, like the capture system that they've done to the martial arts. It's crazy what they put into this. I think it's going to be quite a low key. I think this is going to kind of sneak up on people, and they're going to get it, and they're going to be like, "Huh, okay, all right, what's going on here?" So yeah, I think that's definitely on my radar for the future. I don't think there's a release date for that one yet. I'm not sure. Hopefully, but it's been out. It's been doing the rounds for a while now, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was sometime next year.
And did you play it on PS5?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Yeah. Because that's like, all the stations were PS5s at Gamescom.
Yeah, it ran like shit when I played it years ago, like maybe 18 months or something. But now I played it. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is actually running well. They've tidied that up a lot, and they're still not even at launch yet. So they're making good progress. Anything else that really stood out to you over at Gamescom?
Yeah. Two things stood out to me. I got to play Planet of Lana 2, which was cool. really, really cool. And I love how they're adding additional puzzle mechanics to the original. For anyone that's played the original, there's underwater. You go underwater now, and there's certain puzzle things that you do in that I always thought was really cool. You can take over other characters like animals and stuff and make them do things. Because like in the underwater puzzle, you had to take over these fish that could like spit out these ink blots so that you could basically, mask yourself to get away from the more giant fish. And it was cool. It was really cool. The creative director was walking us through the demo. And again, if you play Planet of Lana, the music is fantastic. The art, all that is really great. So looking forward to that in 2026. I got to sit down with Rebel Wolves and talk to the creative director about the blood of Dawn Walker.
Cool. Oh shit!
Again, saw Lucy at that event in LA. Nice. But yeah, I got to sit down with him for about 30 minutes for extended conversation about what they're trying to do. I like that they're not running away from the fact that, hey, they're mostly ex-CDPR guys, and there's always going to be comparisons to The Witcher in this. So they're not running away from that, but the unique blend of essentially the day-night cycle. In the day, you're the human. You have magic powers that you can use, sword fighting. At night, you're a vampire. There's a whole other skill set you can use as a vampire as well. There's going to be crafting in the world. It's going to be different. The biggest thing they have is the time, because there's like a whole over story where you have so much time to quote unquote save your family, and every time you're a vampire and you complete a certain quest and you might go after certain objectives, it takes time away. And then what happens if time runs out? Because there is a mechanic that you can fail and you don't save your family, but that's not the end of the game.
Oh, wow.
So, but they won't talk about that portion of it, right? Open world wise, it's smaller but more dense. At the LA event, someone had compared it to Blood and Wine as far as size goes. But it's going to be very compact but dense with a lot of different things that you can do. Objectives can be tackled either as a human, as a vampire. So you could start something as a human, wait till night, finish it up as a vampire, vice versa, stuff like that. They're still trying to figure out the parry system, the sword fighting system.
That they have. How is that combat? Because when I saw the game, like when they dropped that big gameplay trailer, I was like, it
needs work, and they know it.
Did you play it? Sorry, or did you?
I did not.
Yeah,
no hands on.
Right.
Yeah, only demo and the they showed the demo and conversation, but they're aware they got work to do as far as the combat goes on that. But I think it has potential. I mean, it looks really good. I think what they're trying to accomplish with it is familiar enough, but then unique enough with the time mechanic, and then obviously the flipping back and forth between a human and a vampire. So we'll see on that. I didn't play it, but I saw it in action. Lego Batman. I think that's going to wind up.
I saw it was a GameIndustry.biz. No, it was Chris String's publication today, like the Game Business, I think, is like Lego Batman was the biggest revealed title in terms of like viewership and engagement. Lego Batman was the biggest thing at Gamescom, which is insane to imagine. This little fucking Lego game based on Batman, which is like goes like, let's go.
It looks good. It looks really, really good. I already told you about Keeper. So like I said, Tim Schafer gave the presentation on that. Yeah. There's no dialogue in the game. You obviously control this lighthouse that has sprouted legs and is walking around, and you're trying to get to this objective, like this. You're trying to get to the top of this mountain, I believe, or something is exactly what the lighthouse is trying to do. And then you have this bird that's with you, and you can use the bird to puzzle solve and interact with certain things. It kind of probably sounds boring as I'm explaining it, but watching it, boring.
It sounds the best.
But watching it, and again, it's Tim Schafer telling it, so it's hilarious. Yes. But it looks good. It looks just double fine as double fine could possibly be with a game. So that's on my radar. I believe that's October as well. It's just going to be so much in October. I did play Hell Is Us briefly.
Oh,
seemed fine.
Okay.
For what it is. I would say, and this has nothing to do with gaming, but I went to the Witcher 3 concert while I was there. So that was a highlight.
Really you got to tell me, because I was looking at tickets for, they're doing one in Brooklyn, and I was looking at tickets. Was it
Definitely
worth it?
Definitely go. Because the way it works is that's a live orchestra, and they're playing all the music from The Witcher 3, and they'll have like a big screen up, and they're showing obviously the scenes that kind of correlate with the music that they're playing. Really, really good. I mean, the crowd was really into it. Yeah, if you're a fan of The Witcher 3,
was that whole hall full, or was it like how?
Oh, I should post it online. I took video because I was sitting up front, and I turned around and I just scanned it. It was the same venue as opening night live.
Yeah.
Packed.
That's a massive venue, by the way. Like, if people haven't been there themselves, but I've walked in that hall. That hall is gigantic.
Yeah.
And to fill that out is like, that's a big deal. Yeah.
Do you remember if they did the Priscilla song, the song she sings towards the beginning? Bro.
Yes.
Oh, man. Oh, I want to go.
That's what I'm saying. You got to go. You got to go. You got to go.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I did a couple years ago, I did Metal Gear in concert, and that was worth it. So The Witcher is on my radar. Yeah. Cool.
And then I would say the final thing that was of big interest was they showed it at opening night live. This was from Tencent, is Project Spectrum. And I got a private demo of that at the Tencent, behind closed door thing. Think Stalker 2. And it's like you're a crew going in, and there's all these crazy paranormal events that are happening. And then, it's a first person shooter, it's your engagement, all these weird monsters and stuff like that. The demo they showed us 2 different demos, and it was 2 different perspectives in the world. There's potential. They've only been making this for about a year and a half, if I remember correctly. So it's still a long ways away, but interesting. I mean, it looks interesting. Like I said, think how Stalker 2 looks, very similar to that. First person shooter, all these weird ghosty monster things. You're in this world. You have no idea what the hell is going on. We did a Q&A with the creative director and a couple devs after it. And a lot of it, they're still trying to figure out, like, we're still early in it, here's the concept of what we think we want to do, that kind of thing. But, something to keep on the radar for down the road. Yeah,
I'm looking at it now. It looks interesting. When you say it's only been in development for like a year and a half, that's where I get skeptical. I'm like, well,
that was kind of my thing.
Not much of this trailer is real, or in the sense that like it's pretty hard baked. You know what I mean?
What they had, he was playing it because he died. One of the demos ended early because he died. So I know it was real as far as they were playing it.
Fair enough. Yeah, cool.
All right, cool.
All right.
Man, a lot of games.
Yeah. So when's the last time have you been to Gamescom before?
2019 was the last time.
Okay. Did you feel as though this was a different, because that was pre-pandemic. Did it feel different to you, this show? Is it kind of like, no, it's the same, it's a big deal. A lot of people, smelly.
Look, a lot of human beings, that has not changed. There was a ton of people that were there, and it was hot. Yes. Yeah. Ironically enough, Xbox was smaller from what I remembered in 2019 as far as their presence goes, which I guess shouldn't be too much of a shock, just with the games that they had to show there versus what they probably were doing back then. But yeah, very similar. I mean, I wouldn't. I have a long story that I won't bore you on here. I got lost the first day because here's me going, I've been there before. I know where stuff is. I walked in the first day. I'm like, I'm lost. I need help, please.
So confusing, man. There's like 5 halls and they're all subdivided,
crazy.
And it's just, and there's weird. It's hard.
Trying to find the hall 1 for opening night live was a mission. That was an adventure in itself. Yeah, absolutely. But no, it was good. It's good. Good time. Definitely
it should
glad
be on every gamer's bucket list. Straight up.
Yes,
it's huge.
100%.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's obviously now it's the closest thing to E3, as in it's bigger than E3 ever was.
Yeah,
and I think it's also taking center stage in a way that E3 did, because E3 doesn't exist anymore. Right now, there's only Summer Games, which is just for media. So if you do want that kind of big event where you're surrounded by like gamers and you turn to your right and there's a giant Sonic statue, and you turn to your left and there's a fucking
giant Goku,
then yeah, man, like this is it, and it's fun, and the lines are ridiculous, and it's hot and sweaty, but it's a good time, like it really is. And so if you're ever able to get over there, it is worth having a crack and getting in there for sure.
Definitely. Well, Parris, thanks for your reporting. Let's move on to the next section.
Yes, I hope I did a good job. Thank you.
Yes, you did.
Absolutely.
All right, and we're back, and now we're going to talk about what we've been playing, some other stuff. Why are you guys smiling? I kind of did the before you buy thing. Sorry.
You did the before you buy every time, man.
Damn it. Old habits die hard. I'm going to be doing that for the rest of my life. I'd like to start first because we talked about Mafia: The Old Country last time we gathered. Yeah. I finished it, and I liked it. It's like it doesn't ask a lot of you, the player, in terms of input. But I really enjoyed the story. I also liked how it ended. I'm not going to spoil it, but I like the ending. I saw some conversation online.
People hate the ending. People they're like, that's the number one thing that people hate. They're like, I can deal with the shit gameplay and the non-existent open world and all the jank, but I draw the line at a bad ending. Like that's where people are
Read more books. It's a very normal ending that shouldn't piss anyone off. I saw it coming from a mile away.
Yeah,
but I appreciated it, and I think it was nice to spend time in that world. It felt very much to me like they got the bones. They're like, we got a good story, beginning, middle, and end. And then like they didn't have time to really add more to that experience because it has like one of everything, like one really good showdown, one good chase, one good foot chase. Like it has like all those, and then that's really it. So it feels to me like it's one of those games where I'm like, if you like story games and you like going through the motions, play it eventually. Like it was me like singing the praises of the Order 1886 when that wasn't popular. I was like, don't play it right now. This like 6-hour game for $50, but play it eventually if you love a good story and an adventure. Hell yeah!
It's been really nice.
So bad.
The stealth is so bad. The open world is so bad. Apparently they're adding like an open world like a roaming mode where you can kind of roam around more. But it's like, why? Because there's nothing out there, man. Like it's just empty countryside and villages with no NPCs. Like, what are we doing here? You know?
It's nice though. Like it feels like the villages all look handcrafted.
Yeah,
and like I appreciate it, but it's like, come on, keep going. Don't turn that way. You have to go this way. Absolutely. And then it's always giving you the option to skip ride. And I was like offended. I'm like, I don't want to skip the ride.
Yeah,
that's what I'm here for.
It's actually been really nice to see. It's been a pretty wholesome reception to this title, I would say, because again, it is that kind of thing where people could naturally really shit on it and be like, this sucks. This proves that AAA gaming is dead, even though this is a AA game. It's that kind of thing. It's like, oh, they're zombifying these franchises and milking them and whatever. But really, I think where it landed is that like most people understand that like this is far from a perfect game. The gameplay is definitely weak, but it's just got a cool storyline that people are into. And I don't know. I think this is maybe a bit incendiary, but like, I just think the standard of video game writing is so abysmally low most of the time that when you get a game that's actually half decent written, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine. I'll take it. You know what I mean? Like it really does feel like that a lot of the time. And this just felt, it wasn't incredible writing, but I thought it was solid and I really liked the characters. And I just think that part of it was strong enough to help me look past all of that other disappointing gameplay stuff. And I think people landed in a similar place across the board. Most people.
Definitely. I think like as someone who just buys and plays Mafia games, I know that I'm not going to be in this giant Grand Theft Auto open world. And I know I'm signing up more for a story. Yeah. They tried it with Mafia 3. They tried to give us all this other stuff to do, but that ended up actually being one of the weaker aspects of the game. The story was the thing. So it kind of feels like they're figuring that out. It still feels like they have to find that balance. They got to work on that balance a little more, but yeah. I also like that all the comments were like, it's not mid, you guys are mid. Because in the last podcast, we said mid games are good. All the comments are like, no, you guys are mid, shut up. And I was like, respect. Okay.
Nice. I like it. I'll take that. I'll take that. In defense of Mafia, I think is a perfectly valid position to hold, So no, it's been good. I'm glad you finished it. And I'm interested. I was interested to hear your thoughts on the ending, because as I said, it was very divisive. A lot of people were really mad about it. And it's interesting that you liked it.
I liked it, but there's one thing I can say to you without spoiling that I thought was a missed opportunity. The last shot of the ending.
Yes.
Cue the original Mafia 1 theme. I would have hit so fucking hard because that's actually a good theme. And I was playing and I'm watching and I'm like, oh, I think they're going to do it. And they didn't do it. But I was like, man, look, I don't make the games, but that would have hit. That would have hit for some of us.
If you did, then maybe they would have got an extra 5 Metacritic score out of that. You never know. Maybe that would have been the thing that bumped it up a little bit from a 70 to a 75. You never know.
But I shout out to all the cast, the characters, because it's like, you know how Godfather had like Tommy Hagen, Tessio, you know, all those guys, Clemenza. This crew feels like that, where they're all distinct.
I agree.
And you want to spend time with them, and I like those subtleties. Anyway,
me too. That was what really carried it for me more than anything else. Those characters, I just thought they were cool. They really did get a good ensemble mafioso cast. They nailed that, I think. So yeah.
Luca is the GOAT. I would hang out with that guy.
Yeah, totally. He knows what he's doing. He's
the one with the head on his shoulders. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Well, I mean, I think the other thing we both played was Sword of the Sea.
Yeah.
So we obviously, in the last episode, we interviewed Matt Nava, who is the studio boss. And we were reviewing the game at the time, and we've since now finished it and reviewed it. I mean, I'm sure you finished it, Jake.
Yep.
Because it's only like 3 or 4 hours long, I should say.
Yeah.
You haven't played it yet, have you, Parris?
I have not.
No. Okay. Right. Yeah. Sure. Does this are these sorts of games? Do they interest you? Like these sorts of
definitely.
Games?
I remember when I was offered, hey, you want to review this? I'm like, I don't have time.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's a lot going on.
It's a vibes game. It's cool.
It is a vibes game. You need to be in the right headspace for it. If you're going into this thinking, I'll just knock this over quickly and smash it out, that's not the way to do this. The way to do this is to be like, yep, I'm ready to chill out. I've made the mental space for this. I'm going to let it wash over me and just chill. And so I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean, look, I just think it's an extremely known quantity. You know what these games are by looking at them. You're like, oh, it's one of these nice giant squid games where I fly around an environment, really smooth movement, beautiful visuals, lovely airy music from Austin Wintory. Tick, done. And, you could kind of guess what 70% of this game is going to be just by looking at that gameplay, and you'll be right. I think there are some little surprises buried in there, particularly with like the secrets of the world design and like how much it gets you really looking in the corners of the world to find stuff that's interesting. And I think that other games didn't really do that as much. I also think that the 4-hour runtime is really good because I think the Pathless was 6 or so hours and it was a bit stretched out.
A bit too long,
a bit too long. I think a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I would never buy a 4-hour game. Fair enough, man. Everyone's make your own decision with your own money.
Yeah.
But, this one you can get on PS Plus. I think it's also a discount title. I think it's also just a really great game that's worth owning because it's the kind of thing where I'll still boot up Journey all these years later and just play it, because it's just nice to play through Journey. And this sort of falls into that category where you could just play this for 2 or 3 hours and it's incredibly beautiful and relaxing and lovely, So I liked it. I think I didn't strongly recommend it because I do feel as though it just felt like there was a little bit, I don't know how, I'm interested to talk this out with you, Jake, but did you feel as though there was kind of a bit left on the table with this one? Did you feel like it didn't really hit as hard as the others in this in this genre? There's just something missing, right? And I'm really trying to rack my brain about what was that? Is it just because we've experienced this type of game before a bunch of times, or is there like actually something missing here? I don't know. What do you feel about this?
I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's almost like there was a little bit of a smaller window of escalation towards an ending, a build towards an ending. For me, it was just kind of like, oh, okay, it's over. Which these games can end like that. But this one felt like it was going and building towards something a little bigger. You're like this warrior with this runic ancient sword, and it felt like there were bigger things going on. And then it just kind of wrapped. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, I agree with that a little bit. I also
hard
think
to put my finger on it.
No, that's it. It is. It's hard. I think the story stuff, if you read all of the little lore node things they're putting around, like it sort of hints at a story. It's hard to piece together. I think one of the things that was so special about Journey, and we forget about it these days, but back then, that was a game where you were dynamically match-made with another person while playing, and you had no idea that was going to happen. And that was incredibly special when you would just bump into this person, and you could potentially go through the rest of the journey with them or most of it, but, you'd very often get separated and you'd move on, and maybe you get matched with someone else. It was like a real thing that made you go, whoa, fucking hell, that's crazy, And think Pathless was very special in its own way because of that movement mechanic, which really just felt like super on point. Like the way that flowed, and it was wild. I think this game is really beautiful, and I think there are moments where it really just like feels like it's firing on all cylinders. There's one level in particular, which is it's around a big boat, and you kind of, I don't know if you remember this part.
And you raise it,
and you raise it, and you raise, and the whole that level, by the end of it, you're just like, wow, man, this is insane. Like it's truly crazy how good that looks, how overawing it is. But I did feel as though there weren't enough of those moments in the game. And I agree with you about the kind of ending felt a bit sudden, and the story was didn't really hit in it. It just didn't find that special thing that made you go, wow, that was crazy. That was incredible. I'll never forget that. Like the trick challenges are fun, but I think they're kind of just like there should be something else that really kind of, I don't know. Yeah. I
didn't almost need that extra layer of player engagement. I would have actually rather have had more emotional hooks or another weird level. Cause
yes,
I do like these games. These games are good at giving you opportunities where, and not like the optional score trick challenges, but giving you opportunities where it's like, here's a downhill jam. Yep. Go nuts, kid. Abzu did that a lot where it's like, here's a big wave and you're going to do a big jump with a dolphin. Have a great time. And you're like, oh, the game's just going to let me do this. Like,
yes,
I like those moments. And I want more of those moments more than like just a collect-a-thon or just trying to do a trick challenge, you know?
I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. And as I said, I think I'd be interested to hear in the comments, other people who have played this, what you feel about it. Because I think the response to this one has been a little bit more muted. I'm just looking at like on Steam. It's like 88% very positive. Yeah. So people obviously like it, but I don't know. Yeah. And I think the reviews as well were a little bit on the more muted side. It's solid for sure. But
Austin Wintory, though, once again cooked. I think my favorite of his work is still Abzu, but I think this came pretty close in a lot of ways. I like the use of choirs.
Yes.
Really cool. I played the whole thing with headphones, so that always helps.
I've been listening to the soundtrack just on repeat for the last week or so. It's been really nice to work to. It's one of those, another Austin Wintory soundtrack that just gets added to my pile of soundtracks that I just play whenever I'm working and chilling.
Hell yeah.
So, but anyway, that's it. That's
worth
it
checking
really.
out.
So yeah, absolutely. So Parris, have you had much chance to play anything with all of your travels and everything going on? What else have you had stuff going? Have you been playing?
Yeah, that's been the thing, just between travel and the preview this and like Battlefield 6 open beta, focusing on that. I played through Gears of War Reloaded. I did all of that because I just wanted to say I did it all on PlayStation 5. So I did that.
It's such a novelty. Yeah.
I don't know if you've even heard of this, but there's a Portal 2 mod on Steam called Portal Revolution. It's like its own self-contained side story compared to what you did in Portal 2. Obviously different puzzles, things like that. I've been playing that on and off over the past few months. I just really enjoy it. Really good. That team that put that together did a fantastic job. I know I mentioned it to you earlier, but have you two played The Alters?
Not yet. It's been on my pile. It's very high on my pile of shame.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm doing a second run right now because I played it during review. It's going to wind up being in my top 10 game of the year for sure. And it's such a weird blend that when you describe it, it probably doesn't sound fun, but when you play it, you're like, okay, I get it. It's a survival resource manager. And the whole premise is you are essentially stranded on this planet and you have to collect all these resources to be able to get off. You only have so much time and you got to get out, but you have to clone yourself. And there's different alters of you. So there's different versions of you. And the trick of it is these different variants of you. It's almost like a what if of your life. So the clone comes from a certain period in your life where you made a different decision. Maybe you didn't meet your wife. What happened? Maybe you didn't go to college. Maybe, there's all these different things that creates this different version of yourself. And you all have to work together because it's a resource manager to take care of the base that you're building. It's a base builder as well. Base building, going out on the planet, resource managing. But there's a story, like you were mentioning, narrative, like not being the greatest these days. That's what really hooked me into the Alters is there's such a great story about you having these what ifs of yourself and these different versions of yourself. They have their own, emotions and wants and needs, and the fact that they know they're a clone. And having to deal with that. Why does it even matter if I help you to get off this planet? What's going to happen to me if I get off? There's all these different things that happen. And because you have different choices you can make, there's 11 different variants of yourself that you potentially could get, right? So that's why I'm doing the second run now, because I want to see it from a different perspective with other characters and how that's going to play out. And maybe I'll get a different ending, things like that. But it's really, really good. Like, it's one of those things that, like you said, it's on your pile of shame, that once you really get into it, once you get like into Act 1 and you understand the whole concepts and mechanics of it, you're really going to get into that story. I really loved it. That's why I want to do a second run through it. Again, 11-bit, all the stuff that 11-bit does, they're very unique with their style of games. And I will say, from a bias standpoint, I know the voice actor, because it's one person did all the different alters. Alex
Jordan, that's our guy.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's my guy. I love him to death.
Yeah,
like, you would not know. That's how good he is doing this, and it's just insane. But that's kind of my calm before the storm of all these crazy games that are going to come out in September, October. I wanted to jump back into that and start playing that again. Balatros are always thing for me. I'm always messing around on Balatro. I kind of want to do another run of Blueprints. I feel like I want to, but
did you finish it?
Yes, but I shouldn't. I shouldn't do it again, because it's going to take way too much of my time. The PowerPoint presentations, the Excel spreadsheets, all the notes, everything that you got to do is screenshot. Because I was playing that during WrestleMania time, and we were in Las Vegas, and Danny Pena, his wife Rihanna, she was doing it at the same time. So we're all huddled trying to figure. Like, it's just crazy. I loved it. That's probably on my short list as well for Game of the Year, but I definitely want to take a second crack at that too.
All right. You've been playing some good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then preview. And I started Shinobi, but I'm so early into it. I can't really give too much of an opinion, other than it seems like it's really, really good. And I saw all the scores. It's getting 9s and 10s across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah. Austin reviewed that one for the channel and the website. And I didn't really pay much attention to it before. It was funny, like, because I was so busy. I'm working on other things. I'm working on 2 other reviews right now. And I said, okay, you take this one. He's like, okay, cool. And then I didn't really pay much attention to it until I got the review that he uploaded to proof it. And then I started watching. I'm like, what the fuck? This looks incredible. Why did I give this to Austin? I'm a fucking idiot. Like, it looks so good. So it looks fantastic. Anyway,
can I talk about Metal Gear Solid?
Please do. I'm actually fascinated to hear your thoughts on this.
Can I say something before you jump into it?
Yeah.
So I've never played it. Because I felt betrayed after Metal Gear Solid 2 with the okey doke with Raiden.
Oh, wow.
So I never played Snake Eater. I have it. I'm going to play it, and I think I'm going to stream it and play it, because it'll be just the first time I've ever played it. But I am definitely fascinated to hear your thoughts on this new remake.
It is so I'm annoying about Metal Gear. And there's a big question, like, is it necessary? I think a lot of people are going to ask, because it is like extremely faithful, like to a fault. They didn't change anything. They didn't cut anything. It's the game as it was. The gameplay, while cleaned up a little bit easier to control, is still the gameplay with all its ups and downs. And it looks nicer. Technically, it looks nicer. It looks Unreal Engine 5 as hell in terms of just the style of it, but also the performance.
It's so derogatory, isn't it? When you say like, "Oh man, that looks Unreal 5 as hell," everyone's like, "Ooh."
Yeah.
Tim Sweeney's out there. What's that supposed to mean, huh?
I still think like my biggest thing was the characters. Seeing these characters. I think the characters look really good. Specifically, Snake, Vulcan, the boss. I thought they looked really great, and it was just kind of gave me what do you remember when the pachinko machines, the Pachi slot machines leaked, and they had the cutscenes rendered in Fox Engine, and people were like, "What the fuck is that?" I kind of was just wanting something like that, and I got that. Like where I'm like, all right, here's Metal Gear. It looks a little nicer, more detailed now. It's interesting. The art style is lost. Like it's not really there. But I don't know. I was glad I played through it. I'm glad they didn't fuck it up.
So why is there so much sadness in your voice, Jake? Why you sound so sad as you talk?
Because the conversation around it has been like brutal. I have been like beaten down with this one. Because I just went into it and I was like, I don't know about this, guys. I hope they don't screw it up. And I came out, hey, I think they did a pretty good job. I'm glad they didn't fuck anything up. You don't need to play it. I will still always just say, just play the original 3. It's great. If you're like, I can't do the controls,
that brings
up
a question. So I actually have a question. I mean to interrupt, but so because there's a different control scheme now, right? That you can choose.
Yeah.
So how did you play the original way or did you try it? Because I know nothing. So that's why I'm curious.
The new way. So the thing, the biggest thing I think that the biggest hang up I think for casual players with jumping into Metal Gear Solid 3 is like Snake is very stiff, but also like very herky jerky and weird. And like you have to crouch and then go into crawl, and it's very stilted. So the biggest thing they did is kind of give you a phantom pain crawl where it's like you're walking and then you hold circle and he'll go down into a crawl. And that significantly changes the ease of play right there. There's also a more traditional third person over the shoulder that works, but because of Metal Gear by design, you're going to be switching to first person more often anyway. Little questionable choices here and there. Like I think the cover system is worse. They tried to give us like a modern cover system from like a regular third person action game, which can be unreliable. And little things like now when you go into the grass, it doesn't auto shift to first person. It does a really bad over the shoulder in the grass angle. Didn't like that. But yeah, it's a little bit more playable for people. I think a lot of people are like, well, why would I spend $70 for it's just like an Unreal Engine version of the game? And I would say, okay, then yeah, play 3. Right. I don't think it's necessary, but I think it's cool, and I think they did an all right job. Like all the original team is credited right up front in the opening credits. I'm glad,
including Kojima's name.
Oh yeah, front and center.
Good. Yeah, right.
I'm glad they didn't take out any of the weirdness or the oddities. All the extra content is there. The nightmare mode. There you could like trigger a nightmare mini game in the original game that would then just kind of zap into this weird prototype, completely different game, just kind of like a third person beat 'em up. That is now back in full form, and it's like insane now. They like let Platinum Games like work on the combat. So it's just like cool little things like that are actually kind of sick.
That's awesome.
They also added like one little thing. I said this in my video. I still didn't tell people what it was, and nobody really caught it yet. They did one little thing. They took one creative liberty in the game, so small, just like a little character detail, like visually, that I was like, that's good. That if you're going to change one thing or update one thing, very cool.
Can you say which character it was on?
Yeah, I will. I'll say Vulcan. I'll give people a little bit more of a hint now.
Okay.
Look at Vulcan towards the end of the game. I just really like that. Yeah, I'm just happy that people are playing it for the first time, man. It doesn't run very well on PS5.
Yeah.
Not enough where I thought it was a disaster, but people think it's the end of the world. And that's fine. Every player is different. Maybe it's the distance I sit from my TV or my tolerance for a little frame rate stuttering here and there, or the fact that the original Metal Gear Solid 3 was pretty slow, was pretty sluggish sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a fun experience to play through. I've played it a million times. I just recently replayed original 3, but yeah, like I said, I think they did a good job.
You sound bummed out about it. It's so weird.
Yeah, no, you do.
This whole conversation is so weird. You're like, I think they did it. They did a good job. Yeah,
I think it's a lot.
I'm glad people are playing it. I'm glad.
Yeah, it's a lot, right? It's like baggage with the whole Hideo Kojima, Konami drama,
all that. Yeah.
Also, just the fact that I didn't think this needed to be remade. And the thing that's interesting about this, and I think what some people don't understand, is that it is safe. They played it safe, but I wanted them to play it safe because I would have bitched if they changed anything. And also the difference between something like this and like a Silent Hill 2 remake or a Resident Evil 2 remake is a better example. Those games had blanks that could be filled in. Metal Gear Solid 3 from story, presentation, art style, holding up. Like not a lot of blanks needed to be filled in. There weren't places to take a lot of creed.
I think a comparison then becomes like Resident Evil 4, right? Because again, there weren't many gaps in 4. And you could, like, people say you didn't really need to remake 4, but then they did. And like, okay, some people are going to have a preference for the original versus not, but I don't think anyone can argue that it's different. But 4 remake is an exceptional game. Even if you happen to appreciate the original more, you can still acknowledge 4 remake is fucking cool. So I guess my question is, like, was that a missed opportunity with Konami here? Could they have actually done that kind of work with this 3, with, you know, Delta, to bring it into some new places without betraying any of the original, or betraying very little of it, I guess I should say? Is there that space to really take it to new places the way that 4 was able to do, or is that not possible?
I think personally, the thing that I wouldn't have been aggravated by them changing, because, like, you know, it's like I treat it like it's like sacred ground or whatever, but like I think gameplay scenarios and like some stealth could have been updated.
I totally agree with that.
I don't think like Metal Gear Solid 3 is like the most incredible, perfect, finely tuned stealth game. It's goofy. It's got its quirks. It's fun to take slow and be patient with, but, you know, it's just...
My expectation going into this was that they would basically keep all of the cutscenes and storyline and all that the same, because you don't need to mess with any of it. Yeah. I expected they'd do a visual touch up, yes, and then I expected on like the core stealth stuff and combat stuff that they would change it up. Basically, I expected a more sophisticated stealth sandbox that does borrow from other, you know, Metal Gear games and other contemporary stealth games, and better animations and better handling of perspective and cover. Like, I really expected that was where the majority of their effort would go, and it sounds like that none of that has really happened at all, really, other than just those minor changes that you talked about. So from that perspective, I'm actually a little surprised at what this turned out to be. Like, I really am. I was expecting it to be quite a bit more than it is, it sounds like.
Yeah, when I say, like, when I've used words like slavishly faithful or safe, like I mean it. Like it, I don't really think we've seen a remake. Like, I can't think of one off the top of my head. It's like the complete opposite of what the Twin Snakes was.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Which went crazy. I think it, and it's interesting too, even the lead up, when they had announced it and shown off screenshots and stuff, like changing camouflage on the fly and not going into a menu, bringing up the codec call and it's floating and you can dial the codec while you're in game. That doesn't change anything, because when you switch camouflage, it does a wipe. The screen does a wipe, and then it comes back, and then he's a different color. Okay. And when you activate the codec with the D-pad and you can just dial it and hit call, then it brings up the codec screen.
Okay.
So nothing really fundamentally changed there.
Right.
It's just kind of like new little...
I see.
So I actually got to speak to Akamura, the producer, Noriaki Akamura. He's like the producer. He's been involved with a lot of Metal Gear games in the past. Like I know his name. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, he's at least on it. One of the things he said when I asked him, like, because he had said, like, they have some Konami veterans on the team. They also have some new people. So I was like, what was it like having younger people come in and work on this game, this like legacy? And he said, we kind of looked at what they were annoyed by, and we just changed those things. And I was like, okay, so third person aiming, crouching, and like that's why the changes, I think, are so simple, is because it was like a light touch thing.
I get it. Okay, so like gun to head, you know, someone comes up to you and they're like, I've never played Metal Gear 3 before, like Parris. Do you say, Parris, you should go out and buy this, or do you say that you should just go and play the original, which you can get for like, I don't know, $5 or whatever somewhere?
I think I'd still say go play the original.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not good, because the original is better per se, but purely because the new version doesn't really add much on top of it. It's not worth the extra cash.
Yeah, like, I'm still happy people are going to stumble into this one, and it's cool, and it still has everything that I love about Metal Gear. But yeah, 3, that original 3, the tone, the color palette to it, I don't know. Like, it's me just being a nostalgia, like, rose-colored glasses person. But I think if you are a consumer and you're holding up both of them, I don't think you need to like look at the $70 new Unreal one and be like, oh, I really should probably get that one. It's not that big of a deal.
Okay. How would you compare it to the Oblivion remake? Is that more extensive than what they did here with this?
That's a good question.
It's a good comparison.
Yeah, that is. I would say in terms of visual feel, it's pretty similar. Where you're like, oh, this is like I remember, but it's definitely not the same. But I think I think Oblivion did a little bit more in tweaking RPG mechanics than I would say how they tweaked the crawl and simple things like that. Cause like there are similar animations and stuff. Like when you're fighting Revolver Ocelot and it like cuts to him and he's doing his like, I love reloading. And it's still like that same goofy like PS2 animation. Like, so I don't know. Either way, I think it's just good to experience one way or the other. I don't want to like yuck anyone's yum either way because, you know, higher definition, better sound quality, have at it with the new one. Either way, I'm happy to be talking about Metal Gear. I made a Game Ranks video and then I immediately finished recording and then went and just made another video on my channel because I wanted to talk about it even more.
Nice.
I'm here talking about video games because I loved video games, played Mario, played Tetris, but Metal Gear Solid in 98 was when I became obsessed.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was nice to just be like, this is my job. I'm going to talk about this freaking game. Hell yeah.
It's nice.
Even though I have weird hangups about it, about like this weird salty Konami skeptical fan.
Yeah.
Hey, nobody's perfect in that whole situation. I think we've unpacked that a million times. But
for sure. Kojima's pretty philosophical about it as well now. He seems like he's moved on. So
I like the interview where he's like, I'm not playing that.
Yeah, I'm not playing.
But he's like, I don't play games.
Kojima laughs. No. It's so good.
Yeah, so I waffled all over that, wishy-washy on that, but I'm very proud of my videos I put out definitively. So if you guys want to check those out, please do. And yeah, it runs like ass on PS5, but I didn't count frames, I didn't count pixels, and I played through it and I thought it was fine.
Cool.
So
fair enough.
I guess, I don't know, am my eyes getting worse? Am I washed as a reviewer? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes to both. Absolutely.
Yep. Well, anyway.
Yeah. Well, I got some
you've been
stuff just
playing
briefly.
Luminous?
I just played, Luminous Arise, the demo, which is just came out. It's only available for a very short time, by the way. So if you're interested, if you played Luminous back in the day and you want to play more of it, but now it's from Enhance, and they're like what they've done here is so good, because Enhance now is all about like vibes of music and visuals and like puzzle gameplay all at once. And honestly, I can't, there's nothing I can say to you right now that's going to make you go, that's really going to illuminate what this experience is, because it just has to be felt. It's so unbelievably good. As soon as you step into it, I don't know if you guys ever played Rez back in the day. Play Rez? Yep, cool. So you know how Rez is like, you can just move the cursor and you can shoot things and that's it. That's the game. But the real Rez is like this synergy of like the music and your choice on when to press the button, and how, like, if you just fall into that rhythm and you start to connect with the rhythm of the game, that's when it actually works. That's what that is, right? And it's the same with Luminous Arise. Like, it's a puzzle game where, everything that you do makes a little sound. And when you start doing that in unison with the music, and, when the blocks start dropping and you start syncing them up, it just, there's a thing that happens, man. And I can't put into words, but you feel it, and it's so good. And the work that Enhance does as a studio is so special and unique. Incredible studio. This is like the Tetris Effect people, and Tetris Effect, like, it's one game of the year. Yeah, like one game of the year from a bunch of publications a bunch of years ago, and it's a fucking Tetris game. Do you know what I mean? But that's how good they are at doing this thing. And if you haven't experienced it, I really recommend just trying it. It takes 2 minutes to download. A game of Luminous Arise will take you, like one of the maps that you play, whatever they're called, it's literally 3 minutes. But at that moment, you're going to understand what this is, and you're going to decide whether or not you want to keep going with it. But I think a lot of people will get pulled in by it. It's just really, it's that thing you got to just impulse download. You got to try it. As I said, the demo's only up for a few more days. Please do. It's just super cool, and I loved it. And very pumped for the full release. It's like November something now for the full game, I think they announced.
Cool.
And very, very special. Really special studio. And I think of something like, Wipeout back in the day on the PlayStation. That is a game that was very much about like, it feels cool to play it. And it understood music in a way that that very few games do. Enhance's work is that sort of same pedigree. Even though it's a puzzle game as opposed to a racing game, it taps into something like this unison of music and visuals and gameplay. It just feels cool as hell. So totally check it out. The other one, just briefly, I played Valor Mortis.
Yeah,
which is a first-person Souls-like from the Ghost Runner team. One more level. Yeah. So why are you smiling?
I forgot to mention I played that at Gamescom.
Cool.
And I think
Tell us what you think.
It was a mental block. I freaking sucked at that big time. Yeah.
Oh, so it's hard.
That game was hard.
Oh man.
Okay, but did you like it? Like, did you enjoy it at all, despite being bad?
I like it, but I was a little frustrated in my demo because I felt like I got the timing down. And sometimes it would work great and other times it just wasn't.
Okay.
So that was a little frustrating. And then they put me to the end. I got to the end with the big Napoleon boss thing. Yeah. And he was just kicking my ass. So I looked at the guy, one of the devs, and I was like, okay, this game's freaking hard. And I left. But I think it's a cool concept for sure.
Yeah. I know I played it, played through the demo, which took me about 40 minutes or so. But the demo, you can kind of race through it in like, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes if you know what you're doing. But I was exploring and whatever. It's a first-person Souls-like, man. And they haven't made one of those yet. I know people were like, oh, Kingsfield. And I was like, yep, okay, fair enough. Back in the day. But we're talking like a long time ago now, and there's a lot's happened since then. I think it's a really interesting premise for this studio to tackle this because, Ghost Runner, what they did with 1 and 2 was fantastic. They really know first-person well. They know first-person melee and combat well. And, it's an interesting challenge for them to saddle up for. It wasn't perfect what I played through. Some of the perspective stuff was not quite right yet. And because when you're doing a Souls-like in first person, judging distance between your target is hard. And, even the game director, when I spoke to him, acknowledged that. He's like, that's been the hardest thing to figure out. Like, how do you make sure the player can feel that correctly and telegraphing attacks, but also like your field of vision? Because, a lot happens off outside of your field of view. And that it doesn't happen like that in the third person game because you can see around your character.
Right. Whereas
here you can just see this. So if you've played Kingdom Come 2, it's like a good comparison. Or like, your average Bethesda game, but the stakes are so low you don't really care. But like in, Kingdom Come, for example, unless you have your eyes on all targets in front of you, you're fucked because one of them is going to circle around you and they're just going to pop you on the back of the head and it's over, right? It was the same sort of thing here where you were just trying to position to make sure that they stayed in your vision cone, which could be annoying for some people. I think it was annoying for me at first until I realized that I'm like, well, no, I should actually try and do that. Because if I was in this situation in real life, I would want to keep those targets in my field of view. It makes sense. But the setting was really cool. It ran beautifully. I played it on my own PC at home. It's just an interesting concept. Everyone's a bit tired of Souls-likes at this point, and I get it. I'm not personally. I still enjoy them. And I think a first-person spin on that is really novel and interesting and cool. And from what I played of it so far,
does it make good of that whole concept, like the art, the time period, the like Napoleonic?
So far,
like, in terms of weapon types and stuff.
Well, I only had a sword and like a single pistol on this build, and had like some magic powers as well. So I can't really comment on all of that. But it certainly was going in the right direction. I just played what was essentially the prologue kind of. I just woke up from the dead and I fought the first.
Right, and you're walking through,
that kind of thing. So,
but see, that was a thing that was annoying me was because at one point there was like that zombie dog thing that comes at you, and he's actually not hard to take out. And he took me out a couple times because for whatever reason, my timing was just off.
Yes.
And that was probably just my only frustration, that enemies I knew were easy to take down. Sometimes it wasn't clicking with me. So
he had like a cheeky dash, like jump thing that kind of threw the timing off. I can totally get that. Yeah.
How quickly are you dying?
It can get
is it just like two whacks
because you do have health if you think about it. And me being an idiot a couple times, I was like, oh wait, I don't need to do the health, and I'm dead.
Yeah, it's probably 3 hits and you're dead kind of thing. It's that. It's not like brutal one-shots that I didn't encounter any one-shots, but I did encounter some two-shots from the bigger enemies, and most other enemies are like three-shot, basically. So same sort of stakes as you experience in most other Souls. But that was it. And I think that's
once again
pretty much
the Souls. Like
I forgot a game.
But you go on, go.
All right,
I forgot something else. Again, mental blocks. That I played at Gamescom was High on Life 2. I mean, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. I personally just love that kind of humor from the first one, this is more of the same for sure. And now there's kind of this skateboard mechanic that you have in it. So think Sunset Overdrive as a way, but hilarious. There's a lot of funny stuff in there, and even at the very end, like we were talking Metal Gear, where the boss guy that you're chasing the whole time, he literally gets inside the system settings of the game, and you have to fight him inside of all that.
That's really cool.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And then I have to tell this story. So they had the let's say it right, the ROG Xbox Ally X there, and they had Half-Life 2 on it. So when I was done with my demo, they were like, "Hey, do you want to check it out on the handheld or whatever?" So I go to reach for it, and someone from PR goes to reach for it at the same time. We dropped it.
Oh, shit. Did it break?
No,
did it break?
God, it didn't. But
oh, my God.
The horror I had. Yeah. I was like, oh, my God, they're going to blame me for this. They're going to say Parris dropped the freaking broke the handheld. But luckily, it was fine. But, man, there was about 5 seconds there where I was just like, oh, no, this is horrible. But it was good.
It'd be a pretty cool story, though, if it did break, because you'd have this whole...
No, it would not. That is not the story I want.
It'd be like the first test of, like, damage resistance on it. Yeah. Like, that's headlines out of that, man.
Yeah. But no, I think Squanch Games it's fun. Again, if you like the first one, they're just ramping it up even more in this one. And it played pretty well. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, nice. Excellent.
If we are having brain farts or blocking things out, the one thing I didn't say with Metal Gear, legacy filter, play with the legacy filter on.
Yeah.
Essentially, it gives a little bit more of the color palette of the old game. It's not 1-to-1, but it gives it a little bit more of a older style.
All the screenshots on Twitter are like, the soul of this game has been destroyed, and it's like a picture of, I don't know, Snake at the in the graveyard or whatever.
Oh yeah,
and
it doesn't look that good.
It doesn't look good. Don't get me wrong. Like, but at the same time, it's also, I don't think it's that bad. It's like destroyed the game. It's not like they've kind of cartoonified it or made, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I agree. Yeah. It doesn't look as good as the original. But to say it's like, it's been destroyed, the game is a disgrace. I'm like, come on, guys, let's wind it back a little bit. You know what
Plenty
I mean?
of other parts are just as like atmospheric or immersive as the original game. So, all right. Well, with that was a lot of games, boys. Now let's jump into show and tell. Something else we've been enjoying that isn't a video game.
So I'll go first very briefly. I have started reading a book. I started reading the Mistborn series from Brandon Sanderson, yes, which has been on my reading list forever. And I've only just started it, but it's really cool so far, and I'm very into it. And I'm just gonna keep on keeping on with that. Been a while since
What is that?
The pitch is as I understand, the pitch is like, what if the hero kind of failed as a setup for a story, as opposed to the hero always succeeding or whatever else. I'm so early on in it. That's literally the pitch that I've read from elsewhere. But the pitch so far is like a very sort of, a world of slavery and torment and pain for a bunch of people. And, there's a resistance that's kind of building to that, and some very strong characters at this point, and some nice little nods to magic without being overly too strong-handed or whatever. I don't know. It's working for me so far. I was very sort of captivated by those opening chapters, and I can already see why people are very into it. The other thing that I watched a movie. I watched Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
Oh yeah,
which I don't think I've ever seen before. Now, let me tell you, this is a deeply problematic film, okay? Like, deeply problematic, because you basically got a situation where it's set in a school, okay? But like, all the actors that are playing it are clearly like pushing 30, like absolutely 100%. But even though they're school kids, like the girls are still dating like older like Yakuza guys and all this sort of shit, and they're getting beat up by their Yakuza boyfriends and all this sort of stuff. And it's kind of like, she's 17, man. You're clearly like 35 or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's never really acknowledged in this movie. It's also just not good. Like some of the acting, like the casting choices, like the main woman,
the American guy. He's just the most American generic
like he has
guy.
The dumbest accent.
He's like the Alpha Protocol main character, like the Alpha Protocol base template.
Yeah, and it's what's so funny. He's got this really like thick, like I don't even know where the accent's from in America, but whatever. And then she is an Australian girl who just has an Aussie accent. Like she's not putting on anything. And so it's so weird listening to them talk to each other, which of course is totally normal that, you know, we have right on this podcast, Americans and Australians talking. But in Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, it's kind of weird that we landed at that place, you know? So it was not a good film. And I don't recommend it. But then I watched, what was the one up? Was it
Too Fast, Too Furious?
No, I watched that before. That was also terrible.
Oh, was it the one just called Fast and Furious? It's technically Fast and Furious 4.
Is that the one with The Rock? The first one with The Rock?
No, it wasn't
That's
the one with
5.
The Rock. It was
That's 5,
It was the one where Dominic like Toretto was back, because that's the other thing I didn't even know. In Tokyo Drift, like he's not even in it. I'm like, what do you mean he's not in it? You know. But the next one, it is like Paul Walker and Vin Diesel, whatever, they're back, and you know it's got that's actually a fantastic film. That's really
it was actually
that
was
was
like
4.
a bit of a reboot for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a reboot for it, and it like had some emotional moments and stuff, and it was just the chase sequences were sick as hell. So I understand the series gets better from here on, because 2 and Tokyo Drift were just like very bad.
Yeah,
very bad.
I can't wait for you to see 5. 5 is my favorite.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's
Okay.
The
Well,
Rock.
I'm actually
That's the
watching
one with The
that
Rock.
tonight.
Yeah.
I'm actually watching that tonight.
Excellent.
So I'll let you know.
Excellent.
For sure. No, that's me.
All right. I'll go. I have a bad thing and a good thing. The bad thing, I have to check my letterbox. I forgot what it's called. The Pickup. This was something that I just was like, all right, here it is. It's like a new movie on Amazon, starring Pete Davidson, who I actually think is funny, as a comedian, and Eddie Murphy.
Like, oh wow, he's still starring in things.
Yeah, once in a while.
Yeah.
It was so bad. I was so upset. The idea is like they're two guys that work for like an armored truck company. Like they do bank deliveries and they get heisted. And it's like, oh, what are these two like average Joe guys going to do? But it didn't utilize Eddie Murphy being funny. It didn't utilize Pete Davidson's comedic strengths. And it was painful. It was directed by Tim Story, the guy who directed the original Fantastic Four movies. He fell off.
Oh, no way. Right. That's weird.
So then I watched The Life of Chuck. This is the Mike Flanagan movie. It's technically based on a Stephen King book. Not a scary one, just like a regular one, starring Tom Hiddleston. And this movie had gotten so much like award show and like film festival talk that I finally was able to watch it. And I was like, all right, let's see what's up. And I feel like it is a better book. It made me like, you ever watch a movie and you're like, oh, I can see that why this is a cool book.
Absolutely.
You know? Didn't really work as a movie for me, but some of the ideas and concepts were really cool. Very existential, very life and death, very abstract, and a couple of nice sequences. It had like a really nice couple of child actors that were really charming. It had Tom Hiddleston doing a full dance number that was pretty impressive.
Nice.
I didn't think it was
He's
like
great.
Yeah. Oh man, I love
cool,
him.
man.
Loki was like the best, or like the only good show from the Marvel.
WandaVision was good. WandaVision was good.
Yeah, WandaVision was good. WandaVision fell off at the end, but
it did. It dropped off hard at the end, but the first half was very good. Yep.
So yeah, Life of Chuck. I didn't think it was like the most amazing movie in the world, but it was an interesting watch, and I'm actually curious to pick up the book.
This first movie that you mentioned, what was it called? Pick Up? It was like on Amazon or something, right? It's so funny to me when you dip into the world of like streaming movies, right? Because I saw a headline the other day that was like, you know, The Red Note or something has been dethroned as Netflix most watched show. It's this movie with like Gal Gadot and
Red
The
Notice.
Rock.
Put some respect on it.
Red Notice? Okay. I've never heard of this movie in my entire life, and apparently it's the most watched movie on all of Netflix, 236 million views. It's just been dethroned by K-pop Demon Hunters as the most watched movie, right? Yeah, I've heard of K-pop Demon Hunters. Okay, sure. Yeah. But I'd never heard of this Red Notice. What was it? Is it Red Notice?
I'm pretty sure Red Notice, yeah.
Okay. Have you heard of have either of you seen this film?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
Have you seen it, Jake?
Yeah. I did. Ask me about
all right. Okay, is it good? Is it good?
I could not tell you a single thing. It's one of those movies. You watch it and then you go, okay, and that's it. And it costs $100 billion to make. Yeah, and that's it.
236 million views, the most viewed thing on the most ubiquitous streaming platform, and I haven't heard of it, and you watched it and you can't even remember anything about it. Nope. You know what I mean? Like, that's wild.
It's bad.
So
it happens. The Gray Man is the other example I always point to. The Russo brothers got contracted to make this $1 trillion movie with Ryan Gosling and Steve Rogers, or I forget his real name.
Yeah, Chris Evans.
Yeah, Chris. Thank you. And it came and went, and it was like, okay, great. What else you got? So
yeah.
Anyway, Parris, what about you? Do you have something good?
Yeah, actually, I do have something to share. So my son and I, my son's never watched any Quentin Tarantino movies.
Oh, wow.
So he had started on his own to start watching them. So then I started to join him. So he'll watch one of the movies and then we'll have a long discussion about it after.
That's cool.
So the most recent one is Inglourious Bastards. Okay. And it was so fascinating to watch that movie with him and to get his reaction because, and this is my personal opinion, I think it's Tarantino's best constructed movie, if that makes sense. It's most intense movie he's made. And, I don't know if you've seen the movie or not, but the infamous bar scene, we had a whole conversation about that, just how it was constructed, how it was put together, all the little small signs of when each one knew the other knew. Just everything that went into that. I won't spoil it, but just such a great movie. And to have this fresh set of eyes watching like Tarantino and understanding his methods, how he uses music and the dialogue and just everything, and having, because my son's 19 now, so we can have this adult conversation about this stuff. And it's just been really cool. A lot of fun.
Awesome,
so
man.
I'm actually looking forward to when he watches Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because I think that'll be another fun conversation.
Man, what a filmography.
What's your favorite?
My favorite is Kill Bill Volume 1. I break it up into this. I think Inglourious Bastards is kind of his quote unquote masterpiece. Kill Bill is my favorite, Volume 1, but I think his most important movie was Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you can deny it. I think the most underrated is Jackie Brown. No, that doesn't get the credit.
I haven't watched that in a long time.
I know, and that's the thing.
I went back and watched it recently, and I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely do. And as I love all his movies, but I just still, and there are some little things about it that I'm really into, but there's I can't see that thing where it's really hops off and makes me go, I can't wait to watch that again. I'd watch Pulp Fiction and then I'd fucking hit rewind and I'd watch it
and
again.
I get that.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I know a lot of people have very soft spot for Jackie Brown. I know it does happen.
Honestly, it's Robert De Niro for me. He is such a small role and he's so good in it. It's such an underappreciated role. But I just love Tarantino stuff. Big
Django Unchained is my favorite by far.
Yeah.
I think Jamie Foxx in that movie is so fucking cool.
He is
unbelievably cool.
Yeah. No,
but also I just rewatched Pulp Fiction and that holds up.
It's incredible how much it holds
to this day.
I mean, that movie would have cost $6 million to make or some shit, right? Do you know what I mean? And it's just a bunch of people talking, and that's it. That's just that's the genius of it.
Good talking.
So, good talking.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway,
man.
Cool.
That was a hell of a podcast.
Yeah.
Good. And thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man.
Parris, where can the people find you? I see you've already been uploading some videos. I saw you did a whole ROG Ally video. Where can people find that?
So I'm going to shamelessly plug myself really quick.
Please do.
Please.
So I've been doing Gamertag Radio forever. Myself and Danny. I've been doing a lot of stuff with Kind of Funny over the past few years as well. Excuse me, but I dusted off my YouTube channel. Nice. That I used to upload my daughter's videos to that I had to all make private so no one looks at them. And I've just been starting to put content on there. Just, like you said, the Rogue Ally video, stuff like that, interviews I've been doing, etc. Just to see what I can do with it. So if you search my name, Parris, Parris, you'll find it. But the actual URL is youtube.com/Marcello, MARCELLO 696. That is my fledgling YouTube channel where I'm putting up my bad content.
Cool. Love that. That's fantastic. Yeah. God bless. Yeah, man. Surprised you didn't do it earlier, to be honest with you. I actually would have thought that you would have had some. Well, I mean, you got a lot going on. You're busy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good though, man. That's awesome.
No, but again, thank you for having me on. It's always good. Like when I see all of you at an event, we get a chance to talk and hang out a little bit. And like I said, this was a great conversation tonight.
So,
yeah, we'll see you at the next one.
Yeah, I know.
Ralph.
It'll be something.
Ralph, what do you got? What are you cooking on for the people?
Right now, 2 reviews. Actually, it's going to be a big month. Next week, actually, both of those reviews will drop, and then after that, Silk Song is coming out, and then after that's Borderlands. So there's like a lot next month. It's pretty wild. So I'm excited for that. It's going to be good. Knock over the sort of September, October madness. Plenty of stuff happening on the website this week in videogames.com. So do check that out if you're interested. We just announced that we've got, guys know Victoria Tran. She's a community manager for Inexplicable. Yes. She has joined the site as a contributing columnist, monthly columnist.
Wow, awesome.
Yeah, so she's doing a column on indie insights and the challenges of being an indie game maker and indie publishing. Her first column is all about those sort of the plagiarism slop games that just steal. Get Unpacking Clone, how they just steal the game and they upload it onto iOS, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she's talking about the challenges of because they obviously face a lot of that with Among Us as well and what have you. So really cool piece, and that's available on the website right now, along with a bunch of other cool content. So go and check it out.
Nice, cool. Yeah. Same. I'm cooking on reviews for cool things, and 2 to 3 upcoming games I'm really excited to talk about. So
me too.
Yeah, feels good. We're in the season. We're in this.
There's some good stuff coming soon. I would say that. Let's put it that way, for sure.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for listening, watching. We appreciate you guys. You can find us on the Scale Up channel. You can also find us on the Friends Per Second Clip channel, which is firing back up, as well as Instagram and all your favorite podcast platforms. Thanks if you've rated us, all that good stuff. Thank you for listening. Tie your shoes and go to bed.